Hello, Salemites. Welcome to Days Daily Dose TV. Okay, this is for Days of Our Lives for the week of Monday the 3rd, April 3rd. Happy April to everyone. To Friday the 7th, which was yesterday. So what's going on in Salem this week? All kinds of stuff. Okay, so on Monday, we see that Kayla gets through. She steals Bo's phone out of his backpack, and she tries to call Steve, but of course the line's busy. So she gets a hold of Stephanie, and it was a bad connection. Stephanie did hear that she was in Greece, but couldn't hear much else. She is, of course, at Victor's house. Bo has it in his head that he wants to start a new life, forget his old family. He wants to make his own fortune. That's why they're held up in Victor Kiriakis' original cabin where he lived before he got into all his businesses and became wealthy. He's also got the orchid with him. He's wanting Kayla to decipher Rolf's notes so that Bo can make the serum to make people youthful, the fountain of youth, and he'll be rich. He'll make his own fortune. This Bo he's not the Bo that we knew and loved. I don't like this Bo too much. They need to refry him. So, that's what's going on with Bo and Kayla. Megan makes a deal to get to Statesville. She tells Patch that Thomas, whatever his last name was, Thomas Barnes or something like that. I can't read my writing. I did write his name down. Thomas something. Took Kayla. So she did lie to them, and she's wanting to be transferred to Statesville. So what's going on at Statesville, and why does she want to be transferred there? She says it's because in the ISA jail, where she's currently being held, she'll just fade away into the abyss and be forgotten about. But that's not it. You know who else is at Statesville, right? Her sister that I don't think she's ever met, Kristen. So I look for the two DiMera women to make their own way. So we'll see what happens there. But something's brewing with the DiMera women. So that, of course, is a lie. Bo took Kayla, and Megan knows this, but she doesn't want to give Hope the satisfaction of knowing that her Bo is alive. But it's not a Bo that she would probably like too much. So Brady ends up going home and sees Marlena. He is in shock. At first he thinks it's, I think, Kristen in disguise or something. But he is just ecstatic. And we move on to Tuesday, the 4th. John and Marlena are, Marlena's in a bathtub. She's getting pampered. They're still, they spend a lot of airtime on them talking about how much they love each other, how much they missed each other, yada, yada, yada. Leo walks in on Gwynnie and Alex, being friendly. Alex and Xander get into another fight in the square. Chloe and Rachel hate each other. Chloe finally lost it. She was having lunch with Brady and Rachel. And, I have to admit, Rachel's a little snot. And, she kept telling Chloe she hated her. Chloe finally snapped because Rachel said, "You hate me too, and you know it. Just admit it." And she said, "All right, I hate you." And then she's telling Brady, I'm so sorry. And Brady's like, "Don't worry about it." He took Rachel and left. Chloe's not going to get back with him with all this, with Rachel hating her. This is a horrible thing that Kristen did to her to make her ruin everybody's life, Kristen's just a horrible person. But Susan, on the other hand, Mr. Clown, love that Susan. Okay, so they hate each other, got all that going on. Xander continues to comfort Chloe, and Leo, Mr. Lawn Blower, I think as Paulina calls him, uh, but he's the whistleblower. He took a picture of them comforting each other. Um, you know, Xander stepped in and stopped the article that Leo was going to print about Chloe. And, I feel like Xander, when he can, he tries to make up for things that he's done that was not so nice to people in his life, now, which is kind of what he was doing with Chloe. They seem to be bonding a friendship. It makes you wonder, might they end up together? Chanel takes Leo some kind of scoop, and she delivers it to his door in an envelope. And when it went off Tuesday, she said, "Here's the biggest scoop you'll ever get," or something. She said something to him when she handed him the envelope. So I figure it's probably something about Sloane. And they're all hating on Sloane, and I like Sloane. I really do. I think she would be great for Eric. She's a lovely girl. I don't know what's going to happen there. I would like to see Eric be happy with someone besides Nicole, because Nicole's much likable when she's with EJ, because she's just not the straight and narrow, I'm going to give up all my evil ways for these other guys. She needs to be with somebody like EJ that, he's not going to bite your head off or kick you out when you do something kind of sketchy, because he's a little sketchy himself. Okay, so then we move on to Wednesday. Stephan and Trask continue their little tryst, pretending that they're seeing each other. That whole thing is quite funny. Trask switched spots with Gabi last week, and they flipped the script back on EJ and Nicole. But if you're like me, you were sitting there thinking, hey, I like Stephan fine, but when's EJ going to get his leg up, I feel like they almost did some bad writing for EJ, whoever's writing for his character, because he's really made some dumb moves as far as Stephan's concerned, letting him know everything and blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't seem like the EJ that we know and love. But, he ends up, let's see, Thursday, let's do it. Okay. Yeah. Well, Trask comes over. Is it Wednesday? I'm on Wednesday now. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and her and Stephan go up to his room for some magic time or something. Or that's what they want everybody to think. Gabi confronts Wendy about Trip. Trip and Wendy got some chemistry going on, and it makes me almost like them. I didn't like Trip, and it was probably because he was in cahoots with Allie, and I can't get into the Allie character. Nothing about Allie I've ever liked. Of course, it's a character. I'm not talking about the young lady that plays her part. I'm talking about the character herself. I don't like her. I think she's arrogant. I think she's spoiled. And I think I don't like her. None of her storylines have interested me at all. I guess, I don't know. I didn't like the way she did Johnny. I don't know. I just don't like her. Why am I saying that? Oh, I was talking about Trip. Gabi confronts Wendy about Trip, so she says, like, how's things going in your love life? And she's like, well, I might as well say me and Johnny are taking it slow. And she said, I'm not talking about Johnny, I'm talking about Trip. Because Gabi, she's like the love doctor. And she sees something, just like everybody else does, that they got some chemistry going. A matter of fact, they kissed. That might be tomorrow, Thursday, on this video. Anyway, that they do end up kissing. So they got the sparks going on. And Wendy said, I don't even know if she answered her. They might have dotted off to someone else. Okay, so while EJ and Nicole go upstairs, and you can hear outside Stephan's room Melinda Trask going, oh, yeah, Stephan. Oh, that's so good. Just acting like, ad-libbing. Because when you look in the room, she's in there flipping through a magazine. Stephan's not even in the room. Where is he? He's sneaked off to the basement, the cellar, the wine cellar, to have a little rendezvous with the Gabrielle. So he goes down there, where Leo hung out. He's got a big bed with rose petals, got some wine, some candles, got it all decked out there in the Demerara cellar. They should check that cellar more often, because there is all the time somebody hanging in the cellar. So, he texts Gabi to meet him, and where to meet him, and it's a perfect place. It's right under EJ and Nicole's nose, and Stabby's back. That's all I got to say. I love that name that they've given him, Stabby. I love Gabi, absolutely love her. So they are in the Demerara mansion with the help of Trask, and they got him a nice dinner that chef prepared, and Gabi's like, well, how'd you get away with that? And he's like, well, everybody thinks I am having dinner in my room with Melinda. Nicole, she's a little bit convinced that maybe Melinda's can get him going or something, and and he's just like, nonsense, Nicole. I don't buy it for a second. He would never cheat on Gabi. This is some sort of setup. Something's going on. He's tuned in. He's right. She wouldn't cheat on Gabi. So, I just hope Stabby gets to be together in the end. So many people conspiring against them. I don't think they need to run Demerara together. I think the Demerara boys need to run Demerara. And it's nothing against Gabi. I think she did a good job in charge of Demerara. She's got it. But I think she needs to do her own fashion thing. Her own fashion company like she's doing. Okay, so Thursday. Okay, here we go. Tripp tells Wendy he has feelings for her. And she tells him, and he's like, but, there's Johnny. You've got a boyfriend. I'm sorry, I overstepped. And she let him know right off the El Bateau, hey, Johnny and I aren't exclusive. He's not my boyfriend. She popped right the hell up. And he's like, no. And she's like, we're not exclusive. So they kissed. So it was Thursday. Sloane, bless her little pea-picking heart, she files a restraining order against Paulina. Paulina's all got her butt up in a knot, and she's been having panic attacks, and Chanel made her go to the doctor. Eric is listening to Sloane go off, and he started to have doubt. He doubts Sloane because he notices on her desk there's like 3 or 4 magazines and some scissors lying on top of them. Now, the last threat that Paulina just got, that she hasn't even reported to the police, was a note that she got that was a threat on this paper with magazine letters cut out of a magazine or words to make the note. So Eric's starting to think. And it seems like I seen Eric pick up the magazine and flip through it, but I couldn't tell if there was anything cut out or not. She could have just been cutting a coupon. I doubt it. She don't look like a coupon kind of gal. I don't know. She keeps saying she didn't do it, and I kind of want to believe her. I'm with Eric. I kind of want to believe her, but she's carrying around so much baggage. She's such a hurt little girl is what she is. And I wish that they would make a way where she could feel better. Anyway, they confront. Alright. Okay, so, Gabi and Stephan are, they're dancing. They've got I'm wanting to see what the food is. under those big silver things, but you never see them take the lids off. They head for the bed, and meanwhile, back at the ranch. Meanwhile, upstairs, EJ tells Nicole he's going to go get him a bottle of wine to celebrate something, or for some reason. So he's like, I'll be right back. So he goes down to the cellar, and he sees the doors cracked. Everybody in Salem does this. They don't shut doors, they don't lock doors. They talk to themselves out in the middle of the square, and whoops, just so happens, whoever they didn't want to overhear that conversation is going to hear that conversation. Now, do you ever do that? Or you ever walk around talking about something that you don't want nobody to know, and you're just talking about it out loud for anybody to hear? I've never done that shit. And that's my biggest complaint about Days of Our Lives, is how they have people, and they've done it for years. Somebody will be standing in the square, well, I can't let Lucas know I do that. And then here's Lucas, can't let me know what? Oh, I was just having a conversation to myself. Yeah, people don't do that. Sorry. Anyway, EJ goes down to the cellar. Pop. Slowly, here's the music. They got their iPhone going with some music. Peeps in there, and there they are, just hugging and kissing and loving each other. And EJ sticks his phone there and presses record. And he's like, thank you. And he records. And after he just records a short bit. But after he records it, who's he send that to? Mr. Lee Shin. And you should have seen Lee's face. Gabby's my wife. I trust her. He's such a dumbo. Oh, for somebody who ran a company, when I first laid eyes on Shin, I thought he's an intelligent businessman, but he's just a wishy-washy wannabe. I don't know. Here I am knocking on him, and he's just doing anything for love. And I'm all about doing anything for love. But I don't know. I'm not about frying people's brains and unplugging somebody's life support for love. Okay, so Johnny, he ends up running into Lee at the restaurant, because where's Lee? He is out trying to track his wife down, because she said she was having a meeting with the Saxton people, and he went to where she was supposed to be having a meeting, and she wasn't there. And Johnny went there to make reservations, dinner reservations for him and Wendy for tomorrow night, the next night. And he's asking me, he's like, who are you looking for? Gabi? Who do you think she is? With my Uncle Stephan. Like rubbing it in. They have a few words, and then they decide to call a truce, because Lee says, I guess I need to try to get along with you, given your situation with my sister, who seems to be very fond of you. So, they have their words, and he makes his dinner reservations, and he says, now I'm going to stop by Wendy's and tell her I made us some reservations for tomorrow night. So he goes over to Wendy's, and her and the Tripster just kissed, and who knows where that would have been if there wasn't a knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Who is it? It's Johnny. So, she opens the door, and Johnny, what are you doing here? And Johnny, walks in, and he sees Trip there, but he don't think nothing about it. Trip lives there, they're roommates, yada, yada, yada. So, he's like, she's like, what brings you by? And he said, well, I called your work, or I went by work, and they said you took the day off, so I thought I'd stop by here, see if you wanted to hang out, and tell you I made some dinner reservations for us tomorrow night. And I don't know if he told her the time and stuff yet, and he's talking, and she's like, wow, you made the dinner reservations without asking me first? And he said, yeah, sorry about that. Why are you busy tomorrow night, or something going on? And she said, yes, I am busy tomorrow night. And he goes, oh, well, what are you doing? And she said, I'm going out with Trip. And Trip's standing there and Johnny's standing there. I don't know if Johnny knew they weren't exclusive. You know? From the look on his face, didn't seem like it. Oh, I'm sorry. Alrighty. Whew. Had a coughing fit there. And that wrapped up Thursday. Friday, Hope and Harris go undercover, and they're in a restaurant. They're trying to look for this Thomas that has Kayla, so they're in Greece for some reason. How did they end up in Greece? I think they're in Greece. Okay, so Kayla explains to Bo that she cannot do anything with Rolf's notes. They're incomplete, and they would need the 3 prisms to make this work with the orchid. So he says thinks he knows where the prisms are, that Rolf had them, and he's going to go get them. So he locks Kayla in the wine cellar in Victor's place, where she finds some kind of lockbox and opens it. And it has, a bunch of papers and stuff in it. We don't get to see on Friday what all that entails. Okay. So you see Hope and Harris kissing. They're, of course, going to try to hook up, get things back on track with them. And, this is so good. Megan is transferred to Salem, where they're going to hold her for a couple days before she goes on to Statesville. So Sean goes in to talk to her, and she's like, "Oh my, it's like looking into the eyes of a younger Beau. You look so much like your father," and Sean just shuts her down pretty quick. As you know how she is. She's all, I love Beau and only Beau. Okay, so there's a reason she wants to be at Statesville, and I'm pretty sure it's because anybody can break out of Statesville, obviously. And her sister Kristen's there, and something's going on between these 2 gals. I'm pretty sure Kristen never met Megan, because Tony said she died before he ever met her. But anyway, back at the ranch. So Alex, his Maggie turned into like super bitch once she became CEO of Titan, or at least to Alex she is. She has no patience with him. Well, he went behind her back, I understand. But she told Alex not to come back to work until his eye was healed up. It looked bad. So he comes back in. He's like, Auntie Maggie, he's changed his attitude. He's ready to go. And she's like, "Oh, you going to the board meeting? I'm on my way. You can come with me." And he's like, "No, I'm not going to make the board meeting today." And she said, "You're not." And he said, "No, I'm in the middle of a great big deal, and it's a surprise." And she said, "Alex, I don't like surprises." So she goes on to the board meeting. So what is his surprise? His surprise is he's offering to buy from the police department in Greece or wherever it is. They are holding the prisons they found that Roth left behind. So they have the prisons locked up. Alex made contact with one of the guys and is going to transfer them a bunch of money for the prisms, because it was Alex's idea that they could make the Fountain of Youth serum and be the most successful company on the earth. It was big, big, big. So he checked on it, and everything was a go. And then after the board meeting, Maggie comes out and she's like, Alex, I need you to tell me about this because, when you're using Titan funds to buy something, I need to know what's going on. So he told her all about the prisms and blah, 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 blah. And he said, we'll be known all over the planet, basically. And he's like, what do you think? And she's like, I think it's stupid. You want to send Titan's money to some criminal for, she was just, she told him no. So he had to call the guy back and tell him no. But at the same time, Bo is headed to that same police station to get the prisms for what? For the orchid. So he dresses up in a suit and claims that he is Shane Donovan, the head of the ISA. And the guy tells him to go wait in another room. He has to make sure it's okay, confirm it and stuff. And that's when, during that time, that Alex called him and said it's a no-go on the prisms. So he's getting ready to get the prisms for Bo. Meanwhile, Patch comes in because he's looking for all the contents they found in Rolf's hotel room or wherever he was staying. I thought he would be staying on that island with Megan. Maybe that's where they found him. Everything they found that he left behind, Patch wanted it. And he may have mentioned the prisms. I'm not sure. But the police officer, he said, we already have Shane Donovan's here right now to pick that stuff up. And he's like, Shane Donovan, ISA? And he said, yes, he's right over there in that room waiting on me to get the stuff. And he said, He said, well, I'm going to go in and have a word with him. So he goes in, and it's actually Bo. And Bo has his back to him. And Patch walks in, and Bo turns around. Bah! Bazinga. Patch sees Bo for the first time in decades. They're reunited. That's it. That's how it ended Friday. You see Bo and Patch looking at each other. It's great. It's great. Now, Patch ain't going to let him get away. Patch will be getting his sweetness back. Sweetness. Little sweetness. I love it. I love it. I love the whole sweetness thing. I love the fancy face. I'm all about personal names like that. So that's it for Days of Our Lives. Now, there were some days that seemed like things were, I didn't have much to say about them. It's because they spend a lot of airtime on, like, Hope and Harris's relationship, and Bo and Kayla talking, just all kinds of nonsense that I'm not even interested in. But when they say something important, I'm on it. So, subscribe if you have not. And I will see you all in Salem. Because I love Salem. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter to everybody.